Women Innovators. Interviews with women with big messages and big missions, sharing their stories to inspire you to live your passion and step up to make the world a better place. Here's your host, Tami Patzer.
Hi, everyone. This is Tami Patzer, and I'm really excited about today's guest because she's all about clarity. And as many of you know, I need clarity so much in my life that I named my cat Clarity. So this is exciting. So Clara Capano is the owner of Capano Consulting, and she spent more than 15 years supporting working women and mompreneurs to grow their business and maintain harmony in their lives. She's the author of Find Your Focus, another one of my favorite words, 52 Weeks of Clara-ty, and she's an international trainer and business coach with Ninja Selling Systems. Her website is, can you guess, Clara-ty.com, and you can also get a copy of her book, The Art of Saying No. But before you run off to do that, you want to listen to our conversation. So Clara is your real name. I, for some reason, just want to call you Claire. That's what I call my...
No worries. I've been called worse, so we'll go with it.
So tell me, what was an inspiration for you to start this business?
Right. You know, the dream started when I was actually a teenager. When I was a teenager, I had an eating disorder and I was getting treatment for it. And I realized there was a huge disconnect in communication between doctors and patients. So I had this idea that I wanted to go into companies and teach them how to communicate better. And everyone told me that doesn't exist. You're never going to make any money. Do something smarter with it. Well, I now know that was the beginning of industrial psychology, but I didn't know that. So I then went on a different path, and I was going to go to law school and work on becoming a judge. As I went through that path, I realized I loved the law, but I didn't really like all the lifestyle. And the more important thing was everybody that I knew that was an attorney told me not to do it. And they said the quality of life isn't good. It's not as sexy and glamorous as it is on TV. So I started coming back to, again, this path of how can I help people. I landed in the field of real estate, and that was fantastic because it was very fast-paced. Again, I could work to educate people and just connect with people and help them on their path to home ownership. But there was always something that was missing. And then in 2004, I went through and got my first coaching certification. And that was it for me. I fell in love because I finally found a way to connect the dots between running a successful business, but also maintaining balance in life. And then how can we marry the two together? And during all of this, I was married. I had my son in 2005. So I then became a mompreneur. And all of a sudden I realized that all of the tools that I had before needed to be completely reworked because being a working mom and running my own business, it was completely different. And I needed to rework the rules to the game. And so my son really has become the inspiration for me to just find a better way. And I have to say, being a mompreneur has actually made me a way better mom. It has made me a better friend. It has made me a better daughter, a better sibling, because it has really taught me about the things that are more important. And when I am where I need to be, I truly am present in those areas.
Well, I think right now being present and is something that many people are being forced to do with the world we live in today. And it's really interesting to me because being a mompreneur is something that many women have embraced, and they might not always call themselves that, but there's so many obstacles for women in business in general. One reason is because you do have the responsibility of, taking care of children, plus the household. And even if you have, a good helper or spouse,
absolutely,
it can be very difficult. So what would you say are some of the biggest hurdles that you've overcame?
Sure. I think the biggest hurdle was self-inflicted on me. And I see this with a lot of other working moms is there is a lot of shame and there's a lot of guilt. And we have that dance of when we're at work, we feel guilty about not being there for our family. And when we're with our family, we feel we should be doing more at work. So it's that dance of learning how to, again, find the harmony, within it all and learning how to forgive ourselves. And I think one of the things that we do, and I know that I struggled with this, it's the idea of being, superwoman. I can do it all. And we overwork ourselves and we spread ourselves so thin that we end up not being of any use to anyone. And we're not acting at our peak performance. So learning how to ask for help, learning our limitations, and really truly embracing, and this was one of the hardest things I think for me, is we can't do it all. And I was raised, with a working mom, and, I was told, and again, always had that, workaholic mentality of you can do whatever you want and you can have it all. And the reality is you can't. You can have versions of it all and you can have it all at different times. But if you really, truly want to be great at things, sometimes you have to make things more simple. You have to learn to delegate the unimportant things that are not necessarily what we can do, but focusing on what we should do. And you have to make some really hard choices of where you want to be. So I think just the obstacles of forgiving ourselves and learning how to ask for help, time is very valuable to us. And we all have the same amount of time, but it's how we choose to use that time. So I teach a lot of my people on how to leverage their time and look at where they are investing their time, because we do not get rollover minutes in life like we do with our cell phones. So we need to start looking at, if I choose to invest my time here, what is the return I'm going to get on that time? And is that using it to my highest and best use? So I work a lot, with how we're choosing to invest our time, learning how to manage the distractions, which we all face, and distractions aren't going away. And then I think also communicating our goals and our vision to our significant others, being whether that's, a relationship significant others, our kids, our parents, letting them know where we are, what we need, and their role in it. I think especially when it comes to setting a schedule, because we do have to do a lot of work. So we're going to have to communicate, this is where I need to be. Nicholas, my son, is now 15, but I started working on this when he was much younger. And I would tell him, I'm going over here. Do you need anything from me before I get on another call? Every year I share my business plan with him and I talk with him about my goals and what it's going to take to get there. And I make sure he's okay with it and that I have his agreement in it. In addition, I am now divorced. I have an amazing ex-husband and he is remarried and has an amazing spouse. And together as a team, we have to communicate. And I'm not saying it's always perfect, but I can't do my goals without making sure that we're all on the same page. So again, you have to learn. So I work with people on how to communicate the expectations. And again, get your support system together, because it really does take all of us working together. And if I don't share my why, my vision, and how I want to get there, I'm not going to have the support along the way.
It's interesting because as you were talking, it's all about communication, cooperation, and I kept going back to thinking about your book, The Art of Saying No. So obviously people can get a copy of that book, but if you were to give people maybe 3 tips about saying no, what would those tips be?
Yeah. And that book is available. It's a free ebook, so anybody can get it. And it's just a very short little read. But, I think the first thing, and I heard this quote by Christy Wright, who is another, business specialist who works with women. And she said, an honest no is better than a dishonest yes. So I think it's really learning and being honest, because when we say yes and we really don't mean it, they can feel that resentment, that anger, that hesitation on the other side. So I think one, knowing that your time and the things that you need to do are just as important. I think you need to learn how to say no without the other party hearing no. So again, it comes back to that communication. So for example, if somebody says that they want to meet with me at 11 o'clock in the morning, I have an interview that I need to do. I have to say no to them, but I don't just want to say, no, I can't help you right now. What I would want to say is, I already have a previously set appointment at that time. However, I have this time or this time open. Which one would work for you? The idea is everything needs to be an appointment. And it doesn't matter if it's a podcast, if it's meeting with another client, if it's taking a nap or doing something fun with your friends or your family. You have an appointment, but learning how to say no in a way that they don't hear no. So I think that's another really good tool to have. And I think just always asking yourself this question, because the reality is, again, if you truly want to be present and do things at the highest level, you really can only do one thing at a time. Multitasking really does not work. And so what you want to do is you need to ask yourself, if I choose to do this new thing, what am I then having to say no to? Because when you say yes to something, you have to say no to something else. And starting to ask yourself, if I say no to this item that I already have, does that make good business sense? And is that in alignment with my long-term goals? If it makes good business sense, if it's in alignment with your goals, then you may take on this new one and say yes to this new one. But if it doesn't fall in alignment, you have to learn to say no, because it's all about, the bigger picture and making sure that your goals, your needs, your expectations are also being met.
I think that's really interesting, because as you were, again, I'm listening to everything you're saying and I'm going, wow, she's really on target with it. So your Clara-ty, you also have the other, is it a show or what was that? The 52.
Well, my book, I wrote a book and it's called 52 Weeks, or it's Find Your Focus, 52 Weeks of Clara-ty. So it's a compilation of some blogs that I have written, because I do a weekly blog where I have the item of the week, and the idea is to read one a week and to get clarity going into each week. So you read the entry and then you have a little journal entry to go along with it. And then I also have a YouTube channel called Moments of Clarity. And every Friday I do a video blog. So.
Oh, I really like that. So how do you really work with people? Do you coach with them? What is it exactly that you do with people to get them moving forward?
Yeah. So I do individual one-on-one coaching. So I work with people and helping them sort of, again, come up with their vision, align that, put a business plan together, and then with the accountability and the skill sets that come with it. I do a lot of training. As mentioned, I am certified with the Ninja Selling System, and that's a real estate-driven system, but I do a lot of training for them as well. And then also I do some keynote speaking and really working on getting more in women in leadership, communities, Chamber of Commerce events, and just any place where I can work with, women in business leadership and women-run businesses, and just do some keynote speaking. And then I love to write, so I write and publish articles whenever I can as well.
Wow, that's really phenomenal. And you're also part of Tam Luke's Boss Up program. What attracted you to be part of that?
It was amazing when I was talking with Tam and she was sharing her, vision, because I found her through her podcast, and she, talks with inspiring women and women who are, in her term, are ready to boss up. And as she was telling me about her goal of interviewing 16 different women from around the globe and talking about how we overcame hurdles, how the lessons that we've learned, and so we can inspire and, really help enrich other women out there. I just knew I had to be a part of it, and it was just right in alignment, and I cannot wait to read the other chapters and hear what women in other countries are doing. She has some pretty phenomenal people that are going to be a part of this collaboration. Because again, it's that idea of collaboration that you brought on before. I want to learn from others, and I think we are so much stronger when we come together and when we can build on each other's and share each other's stories.
I agree, and I've had the pleasure of following up with most of the people who are in the Boss Up program, and you're absolutely right. The women are literally from around the globe. I have talked to women in Africa and Europe and Australia, and of course from all around the United States. And they all have the one thing in common, which is that they're just really phenomenal women who are stepping up. They're bossing up, and they're big leaders, and they're thought leaders in whatever that they're doing, and they're very creative. So if somebody wanted to reach out to you to make contact, what's the best way for them to do that?
Well, they can definitely go to my website, which is www.clara-ty.com, so Clara-ty.com. I'm on Facebook under Clara Capano or Capano Consulting. I'm on Instagram under The Entrepreneurial Mom. Again, I have my YouTube channel, Moments of Clarity. And then my email is pretty simple. It is Clara, Clara, at clara-ty.com.
Okay, so Clara at clara-ty.com. Yeah, everybody definitely go check that out. And then, of course, how can they get that free ebook?
If they go to my website, there will be a link on there, and they can, get access if they wanted to buy the other book. And then the free ebook is also downloadable from there. And then they can see all my blogs and my videos as well.
So every Friday, you have a new Clarity episode on YouTube?
So on Mondays, I do a written blog, and then on Fridays, I do a video blog.
Okay, well, I'm definitely going to go check it out.
So, I would love that.
Before I let you go, is there anything that you'd like to add?
I just think these are amazing times. Every day is an amazing time. And I am so grateful. The only reason I am where I am today is because I had people around me who believed in me when it was hard for me to believe in myself. And so I just want to let people know out there, if you ever are second guessing yourself, if you're ever feeling like, why me, or what could I have to offer? You do have a message and you do have a voice. And if I can help in any way to help you grow stronger, get direction, I'm here to help. I just want to be a resource and just help everybody share their message and share their voice and grow stronger.
Well, that's really super. And like I said, clarity is extremely important. So important that I named my cat Clarity.
I love that.
And I'm so happy that I had the opportunity to meet you today. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Everyone, this is Tami Patzer. Go make it a beautiful day.
You've been listening to Women Innovators with Tami Patzer. To learn more, please go to womeninnovatorsradio.com. And please do subscribe and share to spread the big messages and big missions to change the world.